Hello everyone, Phil here, and welcome to my review of Top Gun Maverick. Now, this movie was huge in 2022. It stormed the world. It was supposed to actually come out 2 years prior, but because of the pandemic rocking the world and most movie theaters closing down, the makers of the movie wisely decided to delay it a couple of years until things got back to normal, and man, was that a good choice because it made so much money last year. Now, I didn't see it, but it recently just hit Amazon Video to be watched, and I have Amazon Prime. I was like, why not? I want to watch it because it was this big hit. Now, I've seen the original Top Gun back in the 1980s. It's been a long time since I saw it, but I remember the camaraderie between Tom Cruise's character Maverick and his wingman Goose. And then, of course, there's a tragic scene in that movie where Goose passes away, possibly because of the bad choices of Maverick. And then there's a rivalry between Maverick and his other pilot, Iceman. And then at the end of the movie, basically, Iceman becomes kind of the new co-pilot, wingman, as they say. And basically, it's a really good movie. Action-packed, great music for the time, 1980s. The fact that they filmed so many scenes inside the real, fighter planes. So I was trying to think, because I don't remember if it was the F-14 or F-18 back then. But I know it was real fighter planes they filmed it in. So when this new one was coming out, like, now wait a minute. This is like ridiculously later, like 30 years plus later. Tom Cruise supposedly is going to play the same character. Like, what the hell is this movie going to be about? Okay? Spoiler alert. It's kind of similar to the first movie. It's almost like an homage, but also a sequel. I really liked that. If you liked the first Top Gun movie, you're probably really going to like Top Gun Maverick because it immediately has callbacks to the original. It's got Highway to the Danger Zone playing in the intro segment. And by the way, all of the fighter scenes are real. And what I mean by that is they easily could have said, oh, let's just do all CGI for the modern day. They didn't go for that. This movie actually has all these scenes filmed in actual fighter cockpits, and it looks so similar to the original movie. It's really well done in that regard. And the story kind of picks right up. Tom Cruise apparently is still in the Navy Air Force. Well, I say Air Force, but it's the Navy, flight force. Of course, he's not doing what he used to do, but then he gets called back to doing what he used to do out of nowhere because there's an insanely tough mission that they need to now perform involving terrorists and I guess a base with uranium in it. And essentially it's an impossible mission for any kind of a flight crew to really perform. So they're forming a squad of the best of the best. And they said, well, we think Maverick may literally be the only person who would be able to pull this off, but he's too old to do it. So we need him to train the new group, the new line of fighters to pull off this impossible mission. The movie has tons of callbacks to the original. A lot of returning actors, including Ed Harris, Val Kilmer, and Jennifer Connelly, reprising their roles from the first movie, which is really interesting because I didn't think it would have that many returning actors, but indeed it did. And in fact, it has really creative ways to bring them back. For example, Val Kilmer, who played Iceman in the original, has throat cancer in real life, and he survived it, but his throat's all screwed up. He can barely talk. So it's not like he gets a lot of acting roles. They incorporated that into the movie. They made it that his character had throat cancer, and that's why he can't talk, and he has scenes like that. I was like, wow, that was really interesting how they implemented that real-life thing into the story of the movie and pulled it off. So overall, I don't want to spoil too much about the plot of the movie, but essentially, in a nutshell, the son of the wingman of Maverick is now one of these recruits that Maverick has to teach. And there's drama because the son doesn't trust Maverick because of what happened to his dad. And also, apparently, Maverick at one point had held him back from having any kind of advancement in the Navy. I guess he had, at one point, he had held back his application or something like that. There's a lot of drama there. There's a rekindling of romance between Maverick and his, the Jennifer Connelly character. I forgot her name, but the character from the original, I think Penny. Penny was her name now, I remember. From the original Top Gun. And it's almost kind of similar because you think Iceman is kind of like this other new character called Hangman. They kind of play the same role. The rival to everyone else and kind of the jerk, but also probably the best one of the squad when it comes to flying. So really unique scenes of them trying to learn how to fly this insane mission that no one should be able to pull off. And basically, defying all the odds, finding ways to do it. Also, them kind of becoming a close-knit squad and trusting each other. There's some silly scenes where they're playing football on the beach and stuff, but they're actually well shot. Overall, really, really, really interesting movie. You start watching it, you're like, this is just going to be an homage. And the next thing you know is like, actually, it is a good sequel. It actually is a great follow-up to the original plot. If anything, I only have really two complaints about the movie. Complaint number one is that one of the ongoing plot lines of Top Gun Maverick is that Maverick is back, and everyone calls him like the old man. Oh, that guy, we know who he is. That's the guy with the bad reputation. He breaks all the rules, and he's an old man now. I don't know why we're being trained by this guy. You know, it's hilarious. He looks younger than most of the actors in the movie. Tom Cruise, I hate to say, he's a great actor. I love his acting in this movie. I love his acting in almost every movie I've ever seen him in. I don't think I've seen him in a bad movie, quite frankly. And that has nothing to do with the fact that he's a weirdo in real life, and a lot of people criticize him for the weird eccentricities and things he does. Who cares about that? The guy's a great actor, and I can take myself away from him dancing on Oprah's couch and watch him in a movie like Top Gun Maverick and really enjoy the movie because I enjoy the acting quality, okay? But it has to be said, the guy, you can tell, over the years has likely had a lot of work done, all right? And he looks so damned young. It's weird. He looks much younger than me, and I'm 41 years old, and this guy's older than me. When I was a kid, he was in movies dancing around the screen in his 20s. So obviously he's much older than me. How the hell does he look so goddamn young? And it's hilarious. He actually looks younger than the younger actors. And it's funny because now he has scenes with this Penny character, and Jennifer Connelly looks much older. He looks young. He looks like he's 20 years younger than her. So it doesn't make sense. The whole idea of the movie is the old man comes back to train the new recruits, and how does that work? But the dynamic is weird when he looks young. I think there's one scene in the entire movie where Tom Cruise actually maybe looks his age, and it's kind of like he's ragged because a bunch of stuff has happened. But outside of that, for the most part, he's hilariously out of place because he looks too damn young. I don't know. In some cases, I hate to say it, I understand he's rich. I understand he's famous. Maybe he wanted to always look youthful, and he did a bunch of stuff to preserve his youth, but it doesn't really work for the plot of the movie. If he actually looked older, like I kept thinking like a Dennis Quaid or something might have actually fit better into the role than him, because he looks like an older guy who maybe at one point, he's lost his youth, but he still has passion for something. And then you look at Tom Cruise like, whoa, he's like way too young. But he's not. He's not. He just looks it, okay? The other criticism I have is the whole movie is great. It's a build-up to the fact that they have to do this mission. So it's Tom Cruise training all the new recruits, and it's really well shot, really well done. I love the fact they did real cockpit shooting. It adds to the adrenaline of the movie. Every time they're flying, my God, it's like you're right there with them. And there's adrenaline packed, and it gets you going. It gets your juices flowing. This is a movie that I started watching. I'm like, I'll probably watch it in parts. I ended up watching the whole thing from start to finish because I was so riveted by the action and everything. I was so excited, okay? So I like all of that, but there's an extra half an hour at the end of the movie, and I feel like it's kind of tacked on, and it is absolutely ludicrous. Now, if you like a popcorn movie and you like a movie where you suspend your disbelief, fine. But the end of the movie, like the last 25 minutes, is absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to spoil it if you didn't see it, but it's like, wow, the movie should have ended right there. Why is it continuing on for another 25 minutes? And why now is it so ridiculously over-the-top nonsensical, okay? So anyway, I won't spoil what it is, but the last 25 minutes, I get it. There's like some plot things at the end that make sense, but at the same time, the fact that you're supposed to really suspend your disbelief so much at the end, and those ludicrous things are happening, you're like, yeah, okay, like this would really happen in real life. Yeah, right. But for the most part, it's a very enjoyable movie. I actually really liked it. I didn't think I would like it as much. I was actually thinking, man, what's the next movie I'm going to watch? Because I don't know if I'm going to like this one as much. I started watching it. I'm like, whoa, the action scenes are great. The music is great. The acting is great. The filmmaking is great because they did it really in the planes and everything. The callbacks are great. To have Ed Harris and Val Kilmer and Jennifer Connelly back in it, it's all great. I was like, wow, this is so cool. It feels like a sequel and almost like the culmination of the story. Like, yes, if you just watch the original Top Gun, that's definitely a full story. But this kind of makes it come full circle years later, and it's really a nice way to have almost an homage to the original while also doing a sequel justice, okay? So if you didn't see Top Gun Maverick, I strongly recommend it. Now, I'll be honest with you, I strongly recommend you see the first movie first, because if you didn't see the first movie, likely a lot of these plot lines won't even make sense. But if you've seen both movies in succession, man, that's like the sweet spot. It's really good writing, really well shot, really fun movie, and I hope you'll give it a look because Top Gun Maverick is very entertaining in my opinion. All right, so Top Gun Maverick for me, 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it, had a fun time with it. I think you will too. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching DSP Reacts and my review of Top Gun Maverick. Give it a look. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you all soon.